Hey guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna go over 5 rulings for the new format. I figured I would do a rulings video since I haven't done one in about a month, and I found some interesting rulings. Again, like usual, actually, a special shout out to the Judges Lounge because I'm always able to find answers over there, and a lot of these rulings were taken from there when people asking those questions and other judges answering them. It's an amazing resource for anyone getting into judging, and there's really not enough good things to say about the group, so shout out to Judges Lounge. Also, you guys, make sure to check out my Patreon where I added a new tier, and also if you want to help support the channel in other ways, you can also shop Dragon Shield products through my affiliate link, which you can find in the description box below, and the proceeds of course help the channel. So getting started with the first ruling, Zeus versus Book of Eclipse. So if Zeus is activated and Book of Eclipse, for example, because it's a card that sees a lot of play right now, is chained, what happens? And the question is whether or not Zeus is going to send itself to the graveyard, or is it still considered the same card that activated the effect and therefore will not be sent to the graveyard, because Zeus specifically states that you must send all other cards on the field to the graveyard. And with Zeus being flipped face down by a card effect, it is still considered that card that activated the effect, and therefore will not send itself to the graveyard, even though it's face down right now, because it's still the same card and all of the other cards will be sent away. And there's another Book of Eclipse ruling actually, and I'm pretty sure we have a third on this list. Book of Eclipse, like I said, is a card that sees a ton of play right now. So the question is, what happens if the opponent has less cards in their main deck than monsters on the field that were changed to face up defense position, and they are unable to draw the same amount of cards? Is Book of Eclipse even a legal activation? And the answer is yes. Your opponent will actually, all of the monsters will be flipped face down, and then as many of them as possible will be flipped face up in the end phase. And if they are unable to draw the same amount of cards that the number of monsters that were flipped face up by this effect, they will actually lose because they cannot draw the same amount of cards. So it's really interesting actually that the activation is still legal, but it is one of those effects where they can still be activated even if in the present there is no way for you to fulfill the requirements, even if, for example, you would be activating something that, includes an effect that special summons and all of your zones are full and you cannot actually special summon in that point in time. You can still activate the effect, and that's very similar to this effect. You can still activate it. And then at the end, if there really aren't enough cards in the opponent's deck, they're unable to draw and they also lose. So for the next effect, we're going to go through the Labyrinth Field spell. Not every single player plays it, but it is still a card worth mentioning because some players do play it. And for the better understanding, I think we need to go through the card text. So basically, the first part of the effect is if you activate a Set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap, you can add this additional effect to the card's effect at resolution. Also after that, destroy 1 card on the field. And then the other effect is if you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap card except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Fiend monster from your hand or grave. And basically when it comes to Metaverse and you activating either a Welcome Labyrinth or a normal trap card, chaining the Metaverse and putting the field spell up in the field spell zone, the question is whether or not you're going to be able to activate both parts of the effect. And actually, if Metaverse is chained and the field spell gets put up in the field zone, you can resolve the first part of the effect, because if the Welcome Labyrinth is activated, Metaverse is chained, at resolution, the Labyrinth is in the field spell zone, because the effect says that at the resolution, you're able to apply the additional part of the effect, then that works. However, the second part of the effect, where if you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap card, the field spell would already have to be in the field spell zone to quote-unquote see the activation happening. And because Metaverse was chained and later the field spell was put up in the field spell zone, it wasn't actually there to see the activation because it wasn't actually on the field when a normal non-Labyrinth trap card was activated. And then as for the fourth ruling, we again have an interaction between Time Thief Redoer and a card like Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, which would flip the monster face down. So if Time Thief Redoer is activated and then the effect to flip it face down is chained, what will happen? So the answer is that if the effect is activated, in the case of you detaching either a spell or trap card, it will still get detached and then the effect would apply. So the bounce would apply and the jaw would apply. However, if you're detaching a monster effect, the Redoer would actually get banished face down and it will also return to the field face down. So everything is basically applied normally, just the position still remains face down. And as for the last ruling, I was actually really glad when someone brought this up. I made a post on Judges Lounge, asked for a couple ideas about important rulings right now, and a very good interaction was brought up. Basically, what happens if you activate triple tactic talent to steal a card, or activate enemy controller to steal a card, and the zone where you would place the card that you're trying to take control of will become unusable in the process, like in the chain basically. And the difference is because you target something with enemy controller, and then when you try to take control of it and there are no more zones for you to be able to put that monster in, the monster is going to be destroyed by game mechanics. And in the case of Shangri-Ira will also not be able to protect itself if that's the case, if that's the monster you're trying to steal, because again, it's destroyed by game mechanics, not an actual effect. And in the case of talents, you're not targeting anything, you're just trying to take control of a monster. And when at resolution, there are no usable monster zones for you to physically put that monster in, talents will just resolve without effect. So that's the main difference. In one case, the monster would actually try to be taken control of and then destroyed. And in the case of talents, it would just resolve without effect. So it's important to distinguish both of these scenarios. And that would actually be it. I just wanted to compile 5 quick, interesting rulings, things that will actually probably come up and help you guys in case you find yourself in a situation like this. So if you enjoy these types of videos, which I really like making, please let me know down in the comments. If there's anything you may want to add or ask for a future ruling video, also please let me know down in the comments. And yeah, make sure to check out the Patreon to check out everything else, including the Dragon Shield affiliate link in the description box below. And if you like this video, please like it, sub, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.